My grading system is the darker the background is, the better I like the short story. You like it darker, alphabetic reviews of short stories. My alphabetic grade is not about Stephen King's writing. He has always been excellent in explaining in detail, small or large, to place the reader exactly where he wants him to be. Since the King is older now, my grading is totally will be on new ideas of making me think, wonder about, or even imagine myself being there. I will not accept anything less, like, oh, it was aliens. Come on. What do I mean? I mean stories are in my soul. And remember are Stephen King's early writings like the book Cujo, with the mother and her son slowly dying because of heat exhaustion and the lack of water because of the oppressive, almost suffocating heat, sitting in an old run-down Pinto while the rabid dog outside portrays its dominance at all times by roaming around, terrorizing them, or just waiting until they step out of their sauna of tin cans so he could rip them apart. Another example about when Danny Click was floating outside in the dark and scratching the pain of that one boy that was making models inside his bedroom. Can you imagine? With his eyes and his long fingernails scratching, asking, just let me in. Two talented bastards. It was totally disappointing with this short story, mainly because of the how and why. Bastards is a term used to let people know you're from the New England states. Example, fucking hey, you bastards! The fifth step, surprised, but not a shocking ending, enforces my true feeling towards several people. So what, was it to honor his grandfather by imitating him, or was it a paranormal possession? Danny Coughlin's dream. Nothing special about this short story. Reads like a person who's doing this type of narcissism nowadays. A character in the short story was constantly lying to anyone that would listen to him for his own agenda. I am exhausted of that kind of behavior in real life, so started to skip pages, which it makes me feel guilty when I do. But this one drove me nuts. Problem is, the toxicity of a lie always hangs around people's minds, even though it could be totally false. Did the king turn into Kinky King by writing about what men's balls are doing in like two different short stories? I don't need to know about the character's balls at any moment. Does the king mean high test or unleaded, which was more expensive? Strange, because I guess by adding lead was less expensive than unleaded. Just kidding. Finn. Thank goodness this short story showed signs of the old king. It was better than the first four, about a young man who had bad luck since his birth and still at the age of 19. Finn's grandma always told him, for every stroke of bad luck, 2 strokes of good come your way, and slide in road. Glimpses of the old king showed up in this short story. This story was scary good and put me in the back seat of the old Buick with 11-year-old gamer Billy, rancid breath grandpa, 9-year-old Mary who loved to read anything, even old comic books. Frank turned out to be not so brave father, or did he? And Corinne, the ever-concerned mother who thinks she is right by how people should act. This story got inside me. It read fast, and the author wrote as if he didn't care who would read this short story, like in his younger days. Red screen. This grade is how the king expertly ended this short story, not referring to the mundane content in this story. In reality, I thought it was another invasion of the king's mind. This chapter was a good fast read. Don't want to spoil plot by a single clue about this short, so everyone can enjoy this writing and not know what's going on until the last word in the last sentence. The turbulence expert. If a person wants to become a writer, read the book You Like It Darker, the short story titled The Turbulence Expert. Practically every sentence is a descriptive passage which will place you in that time and space. The narrative is a little wonky, but so is the king and myself. Lloyd is depressed. His pain-in-the-butt sister buys him a puppy to keep. How special. Of course, he doesn't want it and threatens to take the fur ball back. While reading the short story, the reader will learn the pros and cons in raising a pup. Isn't that great? Of course, no supernatural stuff here. Just a good old-fashioned reluctant dog owner has to admit sister knows best. No great shakes. Rattlesnakes. Vic Trent and his wife lost a child by a dog named Cujo. Afterwards, they tried to make their marriage work a couple of times. Finally, they did, and 10 years after reconciling, the last time the dreaded word cancer entered their lives. Vic takes time off to get his head cleared. A business partner let him stay in a McMansion in the Florida Gulf Coast while his friend was gone. One day, Vic runs into one of the elderly neighbors who pushes a stroller with different colored clothes representing her long-lost twins. This short story reminds you of the song Delta Dawn, but this senior neighbor lady is much older and doesn't carry a suitcase. The substance and description of this short story was poor at best. The Dreamers. Was Willie Davis gay? Nowadays, who cares? Funny word, Phlegmatic. Oh, that means unemotional. The gentleman, a scientist, got exactly what he was looking for. This short story at first was fascinating to read. Then towards the end, it ran into the ridiculous. This short story asks the question, is our dreams are a barrier between us and the never-ending matrix of existence? Of course I didn't make that sentence up. Oh, man. The Answer Man. Did the Answer Man have all the answers by some supernatural powers, or did he set the future by Phil's questions? Never heard of French letters or English caps before. What the pickles? Just remember at the end, Frank actually answered. Frank actually answered. I finally seen the old king. I remember in this short story, gave it a B because the real king showed up at the exact time so a person or a reader would want more. Just like in a concert.